Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. Here, let me make sure this is both muted. What? Weird. Yeah, okay, it works. Alright, guys, how's everybody doing this morning? So, yeah, like I said, I actually had a green trade. I ended green yesterday. I came back from that loss. I was down like $6. I ended up trading AMD here, and I did record the trade. I don't know if I'm going to upload it or not. I can, I guess. But I essentially traded this move right here, which, if you could see it, it was this VWAP rejection on AMD right here. And so I got in short right around here, and I wrote it down. I sold it a little bit early, I think down at 26, just a little, you know, took it this down move. I don't know, maybe I sold it at like 30 or so right here. But was able to get green on the day, took a few hundred shares, been trying to scale up, and was able to come back and make $30 or so. And so I was definitely happy with that. What's up, Huguetes? Good morning, man. He paid for it, Luke. Yeah, I have CORT on my watch as well. Alright, let me catch back up in the chat. Good morning, Nuri, Netron, Louie, Huguetes, Frank the second. Nice, from Jerusalem, huh? That's cool. Chase, good morning. All right. Tyrell, what's up, brother? Good morning, man. John Ennis, good morning. Netron, good morning. Ruckus, Melanie, good morning. Kane, John O. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's time for 300 shares again. I mean, yesterday was about a break-even day, honestly, after commissions and everything. But it's definitely time to scale up a little bit. So we're gonna go to 300 again today, and see how it goes. You know, this is the problem I've been having though, right? Is that like I'll get in a trade, and it'll be 300 shares, and it'll be a losing trade, and then I'll have two more winning trades after that. But since I am either not getting into it with a full position size or selling my partial positions too early, like taking profits too early, the gains don't compensate for the losses as much as they would like. Now you can see I'm actually break even from yesterday, but got to work on using that consistent share size and being okay with that. The SPY is actually up a lot. If you look at the SPY, so the overall market, it's gapping up a decent amount today. What did it do yesterday? It dropped. All right, but it's bouncing some, and it looks like the SPY just bounced at this 260 support like I thought it might. It's up to here now or so. I know, I've always thought about that, man. That must be great to trade from Europe. You could just kind of hang out all day. You know, you don't have to get up early or anything. I mean, it's not that bad for me, honestly. Like, the market opens up at 8:30 for me, you know. And so the truth is that, like, I have two kids, and I am going to be up at that time anyway because they'll wake me up if I don't get up. And so my kids would wake me up anyway, even if the market was open later. And so I guess I like the mornings. I can drink my coffee and wake up, look at the charts. All right, so let's look at what else we got. I think somebody mentioned CORT. That is one I'm watching as well. Big spike yesterday. We're going to have to look to see the news on this one, but a really big move. Gapping up from 17.17 to 19s, but it made this move yesterday from 12s, and so it's up a huge amount, like 30% or so. We got SAN. Gapping up some, not much volume, and it looks like a higher spread. Yeah, big spread stock. Not a big spread, I'm sorry, a higher float stock. The float's big. The spread is small because the float's big. Let's see what else we get. JD moving some. Yeah, I mean, we got NBEV, doesn't look bad. It's moving some as well. Had a big green day yesterday. We have CRM, APHA, all moving some. CRON, CRN. And so UXIN, AMD, probably the ones I'm watching. Not too bad. We got R8, RX. Moving some here. We'll see where that one goes as well. Huya. That's awesome, Susanna. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous, man. You know, it's currently 8 o'clock in Texas. Here where I'm at, it's 8 o'clock. It's not bad. I mean, it could be worse. I could be in California, where the market opens up at like 6 a.m. or something like that, right? Pacific time would suck. APHA is supposed to issue their rebuttal to the short seller accusations today. If it is meat, it will go to the upside. Otherwise, it could be a good short play. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What's up, Ramo? Pega? 6:30. Right, 6:30. That sucks, man. 6:30. I don't know if I could do that. Because, I mean, I feel like you need, like, 30 minutes to kind of observe pre-market action and see what that looks like. And so, really, if you want to trade pre-market in California, you got to be up for, like, 4 or 5. Sure. Right, that's true. You could do both. Yeah, that's good. If you could do both on the West Coast, you could trade the stock, trade the market, and then go to work since it's so early. That's true. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, I mean, the top of this gappers list, the reason I scroll down is because, you know, there's some gappers, but not much volume. And so, you know, the top of the gappers list just doesn't interest me that much. Maybe SBS, although I'm not super excited about it. We'll see what happens with it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, overall, you know, we had some stuff drop yesterday, but it's bouncing in pre-market. Let's just see the levels here. I mean, it's kind of we had a down day yesterday, but we're right back to those highs. You know, the high of the last 2 days. We're right at that now on the overall SPY. So the overall market. So we'll see what we get. Yesterday was kind of a weird day. Let me upload my data from yesterday. I'm curious. What was yesterday? Tuesday? Man, I'm getting... Alright, hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Is ASTC available to trade on TradeNet? I don't know. I can check. It doesn't... I don't think it is. ACST, right? Yeah, it's not even showing up. ASTC. I had it wrong. No, it's not. It's not tradable. But yeah, that was my daughter calling me. She was kind of mean to me this morning. And like I was nice to her last night. I let her watch her cooking show and stay up a little bit later. And then I feel like she was grumpy. And so she was mean to me this morning. And so she was calling to apologize, which is nice. But yeah, she was a jerk this morning. It's kind of how it goes with kids, though. All right, let's see what my chart looks like after yesterday. Let's upload it. All right. I mean, it's still a pretty chart. You know, I'll take it. That largest loss is kind of hurting me, though. Yeah, I mean, you can see I'm scaling up here, but if you look at my like stats, you know, I still have an 85%, roughly 85% accuracy in the last month or so. You know, 11 winning trades, 2 losing trades. I'll definitely take that. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Like, I really like that stat. Profit factor's okay. Average hold time for a winning trade's 18 minutes versus 4 minutes for a losing trade. So all of that's good and everything. You may look at the average winning trade versus average losing trade and say, man, the average losing trade is much bigger than the average winning trade. And yeah, that's true, I guess, but that's really only because I started to scale up this week. And so I took that $30 loss from that 10-cent loss with 30 shares Monday, and that's what's ultimately affecting the stats. But once I use a consistent share size of 300 shares, this should get fixed a little bit as long as I can hold it to my levels. But yeah, you can see the chart here. Not bad. Not a bad graph. Yeah, I'll definitely take it. I mean, green is green, right? Alright, so we got SOXL popping up with the scanners here. Still don't like it that much. Yeah, appreciate it, Netron. That's right, John. Yeah, it's just I just have to use consistent share size. Like once I do that, I'll be fine, I think. It's just a process. You know, if you watched me trade yesterday, I was really nervous trading. I'm just not used to the bigger share size. And so it's just going to be a process of like, I think I mentioned it yesterday, but just conditioning my brain to be okay with that share size. And I think that's just the process I'm at now. SBS is actually gapping up some from 736 to 788. Not the most volume. It doesn't look that good. Let's look at the daily chart. It's at 793, so it is right around this high. I mean, I'm curious. I wonder if I could short this one. I'd actually like to short this one if I could. I can. So I can trade this one. Now, this one looks interesting to me just because it's right at 793 right now for SBS. It's gapping up and it's shortable. And the reason I'm kind of interested in it is because you can see the high here. Let me see exactly where this high is. The high is right around 808. Let me draw a resistance line here. The high is right around 808, right here. And so, I mean, if that area holds as resistance, I mean, it's right. It's pretty close to that. It's right here now. And so, yeah. And so you can see there's some resistance here on this chart. And if it holds there and gets rejected there, I think it may fill some of this gap. And so I'm going to watch SBS for a short as well, just basing it off of the daily chart. I mean, if it breaks this level here, it could start to run per the daily chart. And so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to be looking at it for a short, but I'm going to, can't talk. I'm going to wait for it to set up first. IQ on the scanners. But yeah, I mean, AMD, NBEV, Cron, UXIN, kind of the same ones that were moving yesterday. APHA, TIVA, CRM, PBR, SBS. It's desktop based, Danny. but you should be able to download it for a Mac. Yeah, I mean, I've traded. Get out of here, Todd. I know, Luke. It's just I don't want to jump straight to 1,000 shares. That's kind of the ultimate goal, right? Like I mentioned last week. Like if I would have had 1,000 shares, if I would have used 1,000 shares on average instead of 100 shares last month, then I would be up over $1,000 last month. And so it's just about it's just about using that share size. I know the fundamentals and like I have like a profitable strategy and I know I have the knowledge, I guess is what I'm saying. It's just about uh, scaling up, which is a scary process for sure. What's up, Isaac? What is the float on it? I mean, only thing I've seen right now is the level 2. The level 2 doesn't look that bad. I mean, it does look like it has like at least a medium float. Let's look at. Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me know if anybody else can see the float size. It has 685.5 million shares outstanding, market cap of almost 5 billion, just under 5 billion. It's not going to tell me the float here. Come on, man. I hate it when the sites tell me everything but the float. Let's try Yahoo Finance. Total debt, operating cash flow. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I don't see the float anywhere. Short percent of float, shares short, float. There it is. Okay, so yeah, it's medium to large float. It's 300 and essentially 340 million float, and so it's not it's not monstrous like a huge float, but it's a bigger float. I'll still watch it though. It's just a smaller range. Maybe you have to take larger share size. Right, 100% Danny Jack. And I mean, that's what you see. You can see my win percentage. I mean, my win percentage is what? 85%. And so that's why it's kind of time for me. I've only had 2 losing trades in almost a month, really about 3 weeks. But, definitely a profitable win percentage. You can look at the chart here and see one losing day in the last 9 trading days. One losing day and 9 trading days. So definitely time. But what's up, Jason? Good morning, man. Luke says, I have a question. So usually December is one of the months where everything is taking off on the high of day momentum scanner and just going nuts. Why hasn't that been happening recently? I mean, the market has just been heading down. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of just what the market's doing right now. They have the trade dispute with China, with the tariffs and stuff like that maybe have some people a little bit not as optimistic as they usually are about the market. And so I think that's probably negatively affecting the market some. But yeah, I mean, I think that's ultimately why. Right. Yeah, I agree, Jono. Good, man. They've been needing to legalize hemp for a long time. Hey, good job, Pega. Nice work. These are trade idea scanners, Rocky. If you're interested, I mean, they do cost money. I can post the link if you're interested in checking them out. Yeah, and shout out to Trade Ideas. They're cool enough to let me stream their scans every day. And so if you're interested in checking out Trade Ideas, really, really thorough and dynamic scanner, honestly, and they make my morning super easy finding gappers. And then they also have high of the day gappers that I'll put up once the market opens. But I just posted the link. You can go check that out. They're trade ideas, though. Shout out to Trade Ideas. I mean, Jason, it's actually different this week, man. I know I'm actually using 300 shares or so this week. I think I used 300 shares yesterday, and then I used 300 shares Monday. And so I'm just going to continue with that 300 shares this week. Next week, go to 400 and try to scale up that way. It's been going okay. I haven't been using 100 shares, and so that's the good thing. For trade ideas, I think Peter gave us the definition yesterday. He said a bucket shopper is someone who profits without actually trading actual stocks or securities. So like with me trading CFDs, technically I would be a bucket shopper. I had never heard of that expression either. Trade Ideas, my subscription for this one is like $118 a month, 100 and something like that. It's like 110, 120, something like that in between there. But the thing about Trade Ideas is that like it's super customizable, right? And so it's like you can build, like I've built a few indicators here. Like let me see. If I go to alert window here, you can see I can pull up like bearish strategies. Let me see. I can go to reset and it should show like I have like a VWAP fade scanner that I built that I can pull up, you know, get the VWAP fade scanner up there. And so it's just super customizable. Like you can build all these different scans like based around your strategy. And so it's actually a pretty cool scanner. All right, so we can look up news real quick. TME IPO. Let's look it up. Not showing up on my chart. Recent IPO might not be showing up. All right, so we can look up some news here. We got UXIN, SBS. Gonna look up to see what's going on with SBS here. What's up, Felix? Good morning, man. All right, so it sounds like I don't know. SBS, it looked like it had earnings come out on it. I can't read any of it because it's in Spanish. I can read some Spanish, but not that quickly. Alright, so they had an earnings conference and a presentation on November 9th, and they had third quarter earnings come out a few days ago. I guess that's why SBS is up. We'll see where it goes. AMD kind of pushing up some. All right, so I'm looking up the AMD news. I think it's just in the overall sector. Sympathy plays for INTC and stuff like that, making AMD push up. We also have the cannabis stocks. We could try to see what's going on in the cannabis world today with like CRON, CGC, and some of these other cannabis stocks. The only problem with the cannabis market is that there's so much hype. Like there's so many hype releases, like just press releases that are just fluff, you know? being put out for these cannabis stocks that it's hard to kind of weed through. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing some positive news for CGC. Yeah, the cannabis stocks, I guess, they're just up on the hemp legalization. See what we get. We get Vale popping up on the scanners here. VALE. We have what's somebody saying? Right. Hey, I'm not saying they're not going to move from it. I'm just saying there's so much hype in the cannabis sector, and hype can be good and bad. Yeah, I didn't even realize the pun, Sean. I didn't even realize the pun. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna take my morning restroom break. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I mean, I do think there's. I think if you're going to trade, if you're going to trade the cannabis stocks, I think that ultimately it's a longer play because you're gonna. I mean, let's be real here. I think cannabis is going to be legal nationwide within a decade or so, and so it's a longer play. You know, you may have swings up and down during that time frame, but I think if cannabis is legalized nationwide eventually, which I think is inevitable to a certain extent, then I think that's the play to make. I think it's a little bit longer term play, and I think that you're gonna have fluctuations, but it all just depends on a lot of stuff. But at the same time, I'm not really one of those that fundamentally invest or even swing trade longer than a day or so. Let's see if CORT is tradable. Alright guys, we got about 5 minutes. CORT is tradable. Okay, good. So we got some options today. But yeah, Peter, you said look up what it means. I looked it up, and I had when I looked up bucket shopper on Google, it brought me to Etsy, trying to actually sell me literal buckets. Appreciate the sub. Let's see who we get. Zaya and Henry and Bill. What's up, guys? Appreciate the sub. CORT for the spike. Here, let me look. I always like using Thinkorswim for news. I think it has probably the quickest, but let's see. Its price target was raised. Let's see. So I'm reading the news here. Hold on one second. So they have a reported patent for mifepristone. Mifepristone. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce it, but they had a reported new patent on mifepristone. That's why CORT is up. What's up, Two-Way? What's up, brother? Good morning, man. All right, guys, we got about 2.5 minutes. I always thought bucket shops, thinking back on it, I always thought that meant prop firm, like a prop shop. Not an actual prop firm, but like those prop shops that kind of churn out traders. Yeah, AMD, CORT, that's probably about right for me as well. What's up, Salty? Meeting minimum shareholder requirement. What's ABIL doing? I don't think it's tradable. Alright, guys, we got about a minute left. No, it's not tradable, unfortunately. CORT just has a huge range. I don't know what kind of sizing I would take with it. APHA giving some back here, so starting to wash out a little bit. All right, now that the market's about to open, I'm going to put out the intraday scans here for trade ideas. See what we get. I noticed not many people use the new daily lows, and so I'm actually going to lower this. and make the high of the day momentum scanner a little bit bigger. I think that's a little bit better. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds. If anybody's interested in signing up to trade ideas, you can go through my link really quick before the market opens. I'll post this. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways we keep the stream free. And so do your research. There's been some drama with TradeNet lately. But if you want to use the broker I use, you can go through that link and check it out. All right, guys, we got the market opening up in 10 seconds. I know my bell's kind of loud here. There we go. All right, we'll see what we can get today. We got Cron dropping, UXIN not really doing much. AMD pushing up. Let's see what the overall SPY is doing. SPY is kind of sideways right now. CORT dropping. I think CRT is going to drop. It's just about if they have put options or if I can and do day trade it, what kind of sizing I'm going to take, because that's a huge range. NBEV falling, Cron falling, AMD falling. Yeah, AMD dropping here. NEO in, low float. Not enough volume for any NEO in. Not for me, at least. All right, we got a big gap fill for AMD. This thing just gave up a ton here. I hate it when my phone makes a noise, but I don't know why it made the noise. I don't see anything. All right, we got UXIN pushing up. We got Cron spiking back up some. NBEV back up. We got AMD with a big down wick here. Definitely don't trust that. I'm looking at it now. I mean, I would have to do a risk. Like, it's at 2030. The VWAP's at 2030. I would have to do a risk of at least 2040 here. So 10 cents. Not bad reward, but I like this 2050 area for risk a little bit better. And so I don't know if the risk reward is that decent with it. We got some rebounding on the cannabis stocks. I think this 33 area is a reasonable risk. If it gets up to 24, I can take that for a 10-cent risk and about a 23-cent reward if it gets up there, depending on where it puts in this low here for AMD. But a massive drop, honestly, for AMD. APHA as well. APHA dropped pretty big here. Looking at APHA, it's kind of setting up for the fade here. Where's risk? Would be about 16, so about 12 cents. Reward would be about 605 to 85, so about 20-cent reward. That's not bad for APHA. It's got to get back up there to 604. Big if. All right, I just took 300 shares of APHA here going short. Gonna see if we get that wash here. Looks like a good fade, tight risk, about 2 to 1. It's up to 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Give it a little bit of time here. If not, I can jump out. I don't want to get caught in a washout long or anything like that. And so got to be careful here. Give it one more minute to test 610 and then jump out if it breaks. Looks like it's at least going to get to 610. Alright, I'm getting out here. It looks like it's going to break. Yeah, I got out right before the squeeze up. Man, guys, it's been tough scaling up and sizing. It's one of those weeks where it's like, it's kind of mixed results here. I don't mind the trade. It was a tight risk reward. At this point, I'm looking at NBEV, or AMD, sorry, with a risk of 2025. But I knew the losses were going to be a little bit bigger once I started to scale up. And so it's just something I'm going to have to be okay with. Definitely glad I got out here. Didn't mind the fade. It was a tight risk reward trade, but ended up getting out before the squeeze up. So kept the loss pretty small. Looking at NBEV as well and AMD. If AMD can get up to this 2011 level, I like it with the risk of 2026. But that's a big if of whether it actually gets up there. But in the grand scheme of things, I took less than 10 cents in losses on this trade. And so, small loss relative to the share size I'm using. Watching AMD, if it can get up to 2010, I'll definitely consider it here. Risk of 24, so about 13 cents. Yeah, we're getting a lot of little washout longs here. I mean, PBR looks like it may fade, but we're getting some washout longs, it looks like here. I still like AMD, though. It's just got to get up to 2010. Don't know if it's going to give me that. NBEV's kind of at the VWAP here. Where would risk be? Risk would have to be at 63 or so with NBEV. So, I mean, too small of range, honestly. $64 or so. I mean, it'd be a tight risk, but the range is small too. I've not really seen anything pop up on these, so I'm just going to pull out these two. Oh, what was the one I was watching this morning, guys? Was it SMS? SLS? SBS? I think it was SBS. Yeah, AMD is just whether it can get back up to this 2080 level for the fade. Big if. MLSS. Tiva. Yeah, Tiva just bounced off that VWAP really nicely. Beautiful bounce there. All right, AMD's having some trouble breaking 20 here. See if it cracks it. It's testing it. I get a quick surge over the $20 level for AMD. That's what I'm watching now. All right, AMD testing that $20 level again. VWAP's a little low now, honestly. Risk from 2007 to 2025 would be, what is that, 18 cents. Reward from 2007 down to 1977 or so. What is that, 22? It's about 30 cents. And so it's not bad. It's still positive. Definitely got out of UXIN at the right, or APHA at the right time though. I got out at about 611 or 610, and it ended up squeezing up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
NBEV may have been the fade though. I mean, I was watching it. It faded nicely so far. All right, we got 20 break on AMD. Kind of one of those ones where it might get rejected here. And so I'm going to take 100 shares and then add to it if it actually gets up to the VWAP at 2007. That way, if it ends up just tanking here, I still have a little position. But if it actually gets to the VWAP, then I can add a full position here. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, I held it anticipating this, or just in case this happened. And, yeah, I mean, it worked nicely for a scalp here. I'm going to take it off there. Not a bad little scalp there, just not really the move I wanted. I wanted it to get up to the VWAP, and it just never got up there to get my full sizing. VWAP was up at 2005 or 2006, and so not a bad little scalp there. We'll see what else we can find. Got out right around the low of this move. Just a quick scalp, like I said. It wasn't the full sizing, and so I'm just going to take it off there, add back maybe if it gets back to the VWAP. It depends on how it looks, though, here. Honestly, the goal was to get in with 300 shares at 2006, 2007, and it just never got there. So I took just in case it held that 20 as resistance, I took a small shot there, but wanted bigger sizing. One of those trades where you just kind of instantly green. ASTC. I don't think I could trade that one, Ivan. I can look at it, though. Yeah, beautiful fade thus far on it. Another one that faded really, really nicely was Kron today. It had a super tight risk as well. So Kron faded nicely. Hey, appreciate it, Eric. Thanks, man. I'm looking forward to it, brother. Getting that breakdown on AMD. Getting some weakness here. I don't mind taking the little scalp. ASTC is back up to the VWAP though, so it faded once. It's just skyrocketing up. This is kind of what you see happen a lot with these. But yeah, Kron faded beautifully. So we're getting some fades today for sure. Looks like this first stock I traded was just the one that faked out. But man, look at ASTC really getting squeezed up here. Kind of going crazy now. Yeah, man. ASTC getting squeezed big there. And I'm also looking at Kron here to see if like Kron can fade back down or fade back up to the VWAP. The only thing though is like NBEV is starting to reverse, and so it's kind of like I'm mixed with it. Like I don't know whether I should or shouldn't at that point, just because it's the same sector. Looking at CRM, seeing if it maybe fades there. Like if Kron gets up to the VWAP, I could essentially set a risk at like 80 cents. 1280 right here for a pretty tight risk trade, maybe maximum risk like 82. And so it's a good risk reward trade of like 5 cents or so. ACB bounce, let's look at it. Yeah, I can see the bounce there. We'll see if it actually does it. It's just about establishing where your risk point is for ACB. I kind of like that 605 level. I think 605 is reasonable for risk on that one. Reward level maybe of 618 or so. I think is a reasonable area for ACB. It just depends on how it acts here, but didn't look bad. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad plan. 605 risk, 618 reward, big reward, small risk. Looking for that bounce off the VWAP here. ACB's testing that risk level now. We'll see if it holds or not. Cracked under it. I don't like it anymore. Alright, so we're only 17 minutes into the open, so we still got some time to look at stuff here. I don't mind Kron if it gets back to the VWAP. I think that's a pretty tight risk play for Kron. And if AMD gets back up to the VWAP's now at that $20 resistance. It's just about where I would set my risk for AMD at this point if it did get back there. Maybe 2007 for a tight risk. But I don't know. It's got this little shadow fill here. SPY's tanking. No, not anymore, Cody. I had a quick scalp on it this morning, but I scaled into it, just didn't get my full sizing, so I just got out with a quick scalp. NBEV breaking the high of the day. NBEV starting to shoot up, guys. Looks like Kron's honestly following the overall market some. AMD starting to pull back. Like I said, I mean, a $20 entry, it's just about where I would set my risk. It's kind of tough because, let's see, risk. 2006, maybe 2009 is reasonable risk for that fade on AMD. Just about whether it gets up there, and if it does get up there, whether I really want to take it or not. Nice work, Danny. All right, AMD's getting up there. Like I said, it's kind of I kind of have to make my decision here on whether I want to take this or not with a 2007 risk on AMD. I don't think it's bad. The only problem is that it's kind of a sideways fade. Like it's going sideways. It never really pushed and flushed down after that first move that I took advantage of. And so it's about whether I really want to take it here with AMD. It just seems to look a little less reliable whenever it's a sideways fade like this. But I got to make my decision. It's getting up there. It's right up there for AMD. Looking a little too strong here, honestly. Probably not going to take it, honestly. It just... looking a little too strong. I don't like the sideways fade as much. Plus, it's putting in a higher high right here. And that would have probably stopped me out. So, good I didn't take it. Now, if Crying can get up to 72, I could set a risk of 78. And a reward level of 55. And so pretty good risk reward there. And see how well that 2007 risk level I gave myself holds. See how close I was to it. 2010. But this is the risk level I gave myself. Spy's pulling back down here. Don't know if Kron's just going to get to that level or not. Yeah, the only reason I don't like AMD anymore is because it's putting in a higher high right here. You know, it put in a slight lower low down here, but it's basically kind of a double bottom a little bit there. And then it put in a higher high. It broke this previous high here. And that's the reason I wasn't confident in the fade, because it was right around that same one. Like with fades, I want to see lower lows or lower highs. I want to see it put in lower highs, fade off the VWAP, come back down. And when it puts in a higher high right here, it just makes me trust it less. At this point, I'm looking at Kron, but it's got to get up to 72 to be that good risk reward that I'm looking for. If it gets up to 72, I don't hate it. Looks like it was a good move to not get in this last move for AMD as well. Because at this point, if you want to see what I'm watching with Kron, it's if it gets up to 72 right here, I can set a risk level of this high right here at 78, 79. And so I have like a 6 or 7 cent risk. Reward would be down here at the low of the day at 55. And so what is that? 17 cent reward, 6 or 7 cent risk. And so you can see my risk would be here. My reward would be there. And so not bad. That's what I'm looking at for Kron at this point. It's just about whether it can get up to 72 or not. And really, it's also about what the rest of these cannabis stocks do. If they all start to run up, I'm not going to feel as confident in a short position. Yeah, with Guy Gentile, I mean, I don't. All I know is that he's been in trouble for stock fraud a bunch of times. You know, if you don't know who Guy Gentile is, he's the founder of Speed Trader and Sure Trader. Been arrested for stock fraud numerous times, and that's why I always thought it was funny. Like people hate on TradeNet and Tefs, but then they're using Sure Trader and Speed Trader, who the founder has been arrested for stock fraud numerous times, and so it just seems hypocritical. But honestly, I like Sure Trader. I like the DOS platform. I can't say I don't like it, if I'm just being honest. Like I like the DOS platform, but it's kind of what you have to deal with the overseas brokers. So I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where, that's kind of overseas brokers for you. Nice job, brother. Oh yeah, how's CME group going, Salty? Yeah, Kron just never got up to the VWAP like I was looking for. AMD kind of broke out of that VWAP fade pattern trend. SPY is fading down really nicely here. Kind of looking maybe for a rejection on CORT as well. See if it gets rejected back down there. NBEV still running here. NBEV's up a lot today. That's crazy. I know somebody was trading it. Nice, Salty. Yeah, I'll have to check it out one day, man. Yeah, this is, I was watching this fade for AMD, and this is why I'm glad I didn't take it and just put in that higher high. Makes me not trust it as much. Looking at CORT maybe. Yesterday I made some money on a rejection off of AMD. And so you can see it's kind of the same thing happening with the CORT. I think you would have to set a risk of like 19 or so here if you got in short. 1905 maybe there. Reward 36. It looks like it's positive risk reward. I don't know if it's great, but it looks like it's positive reward to risk. Yeah, what broker are you currently using, Eddie? All right, so here goes Kron. At this point on Kron, it's just about whether I want to take it as well. I mean, if it's pulling up here, I don't want to get too big of a squeeze, but I like the 78 risk. I think that's a tight risk, and so it's just got to get up to 71 here, 72, get up another 3 or 4 cents, and I'll probably take it. Tight risk, good reward. I don't mind those, and so it's just got to get up there, and whether it's actually going to get up there or not for Kron. I guess I could take a starter here, but I really would rather just jump in with a full position, see if we can get up there or not. It's up to 68. Got to get up a few more cents for Kron. Maybe it's not going to give it to me. It may start dropping too early. Yeah. SPY rebounding some. Looks like Kron's honestly following the overall market some as well. UXIN been squeezing up today too. NVAX. Yeah, NVAX had a nice little bounce play off the VWAP. It has a tight range though. It looks like a bigger float as well. But yeah, definitely glad I didn't jump in AMD on that second fade. Like I said, I didn't like it. It put in higher highs. Don't know if I'm going to miss Kron or not, but just never got up there. NBEV testing 6. It's at 602. Yeah, it was that rejection that I was talking about earlier, with the risk of 1905 and a reward level of 1840. Get in there at 77. Yeah, that man. There goes NBEV spiking up to 611. Yeah, NBEV is kind of going crazy. I was looking at Kron for a fade, but we might get some sympathy movement here for Kron based off of NBEV. NBEV is a cannabis infused drink company, and so it's a cannabis stock. A lot of stuff starting to rebound here as well as the overall market, and so gonna wait, sit on my hands right now, and see what we get. And NBEV was just 3 cents away from the VWAP, but I'm going to give it time. But this rejection on CORT fulfilled for the most part already. So called that one out. Just a big range. Not really what I typically trade, just a bigger range on this stock. Only reason keeping me from it. But man, look at NBEV go. Yeah, AMD. Complete rebound here, man. Let's see what happens when it gets to that previous high. I might take 100 shares of Kron here and then just add to it if it gets back up there, just in case it doesn't actually get up there, and then add 200 if it gets up to that 71 level is what I'm thinking. I just don't want to miss the move if it does fade here a little early. Something I talked about the other day with scaling in. I'm going to add to it if it gets up to the VWAP here at 71 because that's my ideal entry. And if not, I'll still have some position to take advantage of the move. All right, this is where I might start to add on Kron. It's up to 69. Needs to get a little bit higher for me. I can add another 100 here and then add the final 100 up there at 71 or so. It's up to 70s. $71. All right, so I'm in with 300 shares of Kron here. Looking for a fade back down. We'll see if we get it. Tight risk. Looking for that VWAP to reject it here. Kind of scaled into it. So we'll see what we get. If not, I can get out for a relatively small loss relative to the share size I'm using. I'm going to see a drop back down under the VWAP. We'll see if we actually get it though. Down to 71s. Market overall is rebounding some. Maybe it's not the wisest to short it, but I'm going to hold it to my levels. Try to let it work here. $75s. See if we get a rejection down here. It's down to 73s. $72, $74s. So we get the SPY's kind of rebounding some. We'll see what Cron does here. Down to 70s. There we go. There's a fade back down. We'll see if we get a follow through in this. Just holding it to my levels. Seeing if we can get some movement down. I like this move down under the VWAP. We'll see if it holds under there. 69s. Back up to 70s. We'll see how it responds here. About to get to 71s, it looks like. Oh, 70 holding. There's 71s. Kind of squeeze back down. I don't like that down wick in it. Kind of battling here. I think it's kind of following the overall market some as well. Kind of looking at the SPY. Trying to squeeze up a little bit. Alright, there's back down to 70s. We'll see if we get a bigger breakdown this time. I want to see a break under that previous down wick there. You can see that down wick down here to 67s or so. I want to see a break underneath that. Down to 70s. Looks like it's lagging a little bit on charts. Alright, there's 69s again. Let's see if it actually can hold under this VWAP level. It's kind of battling it right now. A lot of down wicks and up wicks, but I want to see a flush. All right, there's 66s. That's the level I wanted to see it fill. Let's see if we get a big flush here for Kron. I like this move. We'll just see if it can hold this move. It's the big thing now. Very obvious risk level now of that previous move. Just going to let it work. See if we get that bigger move that I'm looking for. There's 64s. 65s. Not bad. If it gets down to 60, I'll take a first profit there. That's the goal. It's 60 at this point. See if it at least tests that level. $64s. Squeezing up some. Don't really want to see it squeeze back over the VWAP here. It's trying to now. This is where I got to be careful here. Got pushed back down. We'll see if it holds that level again. See if ideally breaks that 1264 low it had previously. Market's starting to squeeze up. I think the Kron's kind of following it to a certain extent. All right, there's 65s again. Like I said, first profit is going to be looking at 1260. Trying to actually hold it to my levels and letting it work some here. Kind of battling that VWAP area. $69s. Just holding it to my levels. That's all I can really do. See if it gets a rejection underneath this VWAP, but it's trying to break 70s now. Seeing some green on the time and sales. We'll see if that causes it to spike up some. Honestly, pretty easy trade to follow at this point, though. Like, if it breaks 76, I'll get out. Like, it's just, I don't want to see it break that high of the day. And so, pretty easy trade to follow. Just going to let it get to those levels here. Put in those lows, start testing. Hopefully get down to 1260. If not, like I said, easy trade to follow. Just got to follow my original plan. Let it test the levels I've given myself. And I'm just kind of waiting it out here. There's 66. Let's see if we get that 60 break. That 64 is really the area I want to see it break. There's 65. See if we get that break under 64 like I was looking for. There's 64s. We get that move under 64. It's got some support there. Kind of consolidating right now in between those two levels. Alright, it's testing 64 again. Let's see that crack underneath it. Testing that low. '64s again. We should get a move at least to 60, hopefully, here. '63s. Tapped it for a split second, not long. Alright, I'm going to take half off here. Maybe a little early. But I'm going to let it test the rest just to get some comfort in the trade. So it reached 60, maybe sold that first partial about 2 or 3 cents early, but gonna let the rest work here. Next goal is the low of the day here at 56. Take some off there as well. 58, not looking bad. Kind of scale out of this one accordingly. At this point, I'm pretty comfortable in it. Even if it squeezes back up, I think I'll be all right. Just gonna see if we get that downward push here towards these lows. Got that support at 1260. I want to see it break now. My entry was 68 or 69. 58. Let's see if we get that 55 test. Pretty fade so far for Cron. Now I'm just going to see if it can actually break those lows. I've scaled out enough to where I'm alright. $58. I'm going to take another 75 off there. About 3 cents away from where I wanted to. Maybe missed out on this move here. But there's the low of the day crack I was looking for at 55. Gonna let it work here, see if it actually can make some moves here. I've taken most off already. And so gonna let it see if it can break under the low of the day. And now the $0.50 is what I'm looking for. Pretty fade so far though. $53s. See if we get that $0.50 break is what I'm looking for here. May bounce a little bit before then, but gonna let it test that $0.50. Ultimate goal at this point is to let it crack this low of this $0.50, 12.50 low of the day, hold some resistance where that previous low was at about 55.56, and let this rest little shares work. See if it can actually break the $0.50. It's a big if. I don't know if it's going to. It's already down a lot already, and so big if. But that 12.60 level looks like a tight risk area for the rest. So probably what I'll shoot for here. All right, so looking for that, like I said, that 12.60 level to hold as resistance at this point. If it breaks that, I'll get out with the last few shares. Looking for that 12.60 area to hold as resistance and to see a big push down here, ultimately testing the $0.50 is what I'm going for. And if not, I can get out, no stress. I'll let it test here, squeeze up, jump out. Want to see that 12.60 area hold as resistance, testing it. If the trade would follow through perfectly, that 12.60 level would hold as resistance like it just did. And now we got a super obvious risk level at this trade. And then a follow through back down to the low of the day. Cron trying to pull back some. Testing 60 again. Still testing. Flash 60 real quick. Back down to 59s. I mean, it would be really great if it held at 12.60, but if not, no stress either way. Very obvious risk level at this point. It's got that double top here. We'll see if it can actually maintain this. Final test here. It is confirming that risk level for sure. So like if it breaks that, I can get out. Still looks bearish, but I don't want to hold this thing through a move back up to the VWAP at 68. Unless I'm planning to add to it at that point, which probably not. And so 12.60 is confirmed there. Now super easy. Guess if we get that wash down to the low of the day again here. Beautiful confirmation in that 12.60 resistance I gave myself, that little risk area. So now it's just about whether it can hold underneath. Yeah, I mean, that may be so, Trevor. I mean, like I said, no stress. I mean, I've already got most of what I wanted out of this trade. Just giving myself a tight risk for the last little shares I have. And I think 12.60 is a reasonable area to set that risk. It has a previous high and low at that 12.60 level, so I think that's a reasonable spot. Oh, what happened, brother? All right, I'm gonna get out the rest there on the big drop down. What happened, Trevor? Honestly, it followed through exactly to what I was looking for. Um, the reason I gave myself that risk is because you can see all the resistance, all the support it had here at 1260 earlier. And so, even before this move, that's what I called out as my risk. I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what I was looking for. Kind of called that one out on the nose there, looking for 1260 to hold its resistance and looking for a push back down to break under the $0.50 at 1250. And that's what I got. I got out at about 1245, 1246. So I'll take it. Was able to fight back on the day, get a green day. Beautiful fade though. Followed through exactly what I was looking for. Maybe got out a little early, but that had already scaled out of it nicely here. Really beautiful down move there though. 1260 area held perfectly. Yeah. Listen, man, I get what Trevor was saying though. Like it was a very tight risk I was giving myself. Just in this case, it worked out. It is funny though. He's like, you're definitely gonna get stopped out, guaranteed at 1260, and then it just beautiful washout, which is exactly what I was looking for. And like I said, may have gotten out the last a little bit early, but was able to come back and end about $20 up today, so I'll take it for sure. It's kind of just using, like, you can use support and resistance to kind of guide you in these type of trades, unless I was willing to hold it all the way up to the VWAP up here, which I wasn't. I was already green on the day. I didn't feel like holding it. If it made a move back to the VWAP to test the VWAP again, then I kind of have to use that 1260 area as my risk and stop level. And especially, like, I was pretty confident in it, honestly, right around here, because it put in those little double tops, and you could see that area just confirming and confirming, and so ended up working out. I understand what Trevor meant, though, but ended up working out for me. All right, so this is day 3 with 300 shares. One thing I am noticing, though, is that I'm not letting the full range of shares work for me as much. I'm getting out a little bit earlier than I would if I was using a smaller share size. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm working on it. I'm working on increasing share size. This is the 3rd day I've used 300 shares. And it's not been going too bad here. It's been actually working. Oh, well, if you're just now back, Trevor, that 1260 level held perfectly for me, man. Look at NBEV starting to spike. I know some people are taking advantage of that. I hope they are making some money with NBEV today. Yeah, I mean, listen, Trevor, I understand the stop being tight, but there's a difference between like that being my original stop if I was already in it, and that being kind of my last little exit. Like if I'm already scaled out twice already, and I'm trying to give myself a tight risk level to exit the rest of the shares so the stock doesn't turn against me, I think 1260 was a reasonable level to set as my last little remaining risk on the trade. And I think I explained it before, like I've already scaled out at that point. I really wouldn't give myself typically like a 5-cent risk like that. I think a 5-cent risk is too tight if it's your first risk on the day when you first enter the position. But whenever I'm holding that last little shares after scaling out already, I think having a tight risk on those last little remaining shares is fine. And especially when it confirmed it here at 1260 right before this big drop, that's kind of when I was the most confident in it, just because it confirmed it, multiple times up in this level. Yeah, for sure. Hey, get it, Isaac. Do it, man. Yeah, for sure, Trevor. I mean, everybody trades differently, brother, I'm actually in the process, Trevor, if you're just now joining us, of like scaling up my sizing. Typically I use 100 shares, and at this point I'm trying to scale up to using 300. And so one thing I'm noticing about myself in this scaling up process is that, before I wouldn't have a problem holding 100 shares down to my original profit target, which in this case on Cron was at 1255. I typically wouldn't have a problem holding and not taking profits until it reaches that level when I was using less shares. And I'm noticing about myself that since I'm starting to scale up and using 300 shares as opposed to the 100 I usually do, that I'm taking profits a little bit too quickly. And so I think it was a great trade idea. I think it had a tight risk. Like I said, if you get in at the VWAP at 71, set your risk at 78. You got about a 7-cent risk, 8-cent risk. You set your reward level at 55, giving you beneficial risk and reward in the trade. But I'm just taking profits a little bit too early. But it was a nice follow through, beautiful fade. Kind of exactly what I look for with fades. And so I'm happy with it. But got to tweak that hole in my game. And it's just something that I'm just going to have to get used to. A lot of trading is really just about conditioning yourself. Conditioning yourself to only wait for the best setups, to take profits at the right time, to use the right setups. And so trading is really about conditioning your brain to do certain things. And when I find a hole in my game, like taking profits too soon, I just got to do it over and over and over again until my brain is kind of conditioned to wait to take profits like I should be. But, green day is a green day, second green day this week, one red day. And, my stats have been pretty good lately, but definitely have some holes I need to fix in my game. Oh, 100%, Trevor. Yeah, man. It's kind of one of those things, like, right, like, you can look at my stats. My stats are actually going to be a little bit better after today. But, like, my stats are good, for the last few weeks. You can look at details, like 85% accuracy rate, 11 winning trades, 2 losing trades. So after today, it's going to be 13 winning trades and 3 losing trades. And so my stats are good. It's just about scaling up. And I understand myself that my emotions are going to be a little bit different with bigger share size. And that's just kind of what happens. And I just have to get used to it, condition myself to accept the risk with the bigger share size. And then I think I'll be okay. But it's all a process for sure. I just don't like the Fibonacci's, man. I'm more of a VWAP trader. I love the VWAP. As you can see, that's kind of my favorite indicator, and it's I just stick to what works. And you can see by my stats, like the VWAP works for me, and so I'm just gonna keep using that. Not saying Fibonacci's don't work, just that I don't find an edge with them. I don't understand them as well as I could, I guess. No offense, Trevor, man. It's just kind of one of those things where, if you think about it, man, like I stream every day. I have hundreds of people watching me every single day, and it's nothing against you, but I always get people telling me, you know, don't use this, don't use this strategy, use that strategy. And like I said, it's nothing against you, but I kind of just have to ignore them because it's like I know what I'm doing works, and I'm not going to change my game plan to use somebody else's strategy when mine's working. And so it's kind of one of those things where I'm just trying to rinse and repeat what works for me. And I kind of just got to ignore everything else. And it's nothing against you. It's just kind of the way it is. Oh, sure. I'm open to it, brother. Yeah, you can show me, man. No stress. You know, I'll listen. But man, look at AMD today, man. That's weird action for AMD. Hey, Todd. That's just kind of how it is, man. I always say Todd. I always ignore Todd. You should be able to, Trevor. Try it. You should be able to. Luke, man, I listen. I know myself, man. I never have good results trading in the afternoon, brother. I would, uh, but who? Who's a she? But yeah, I'll let you post the link, Trevor, because you asked. You know, I don't mind letting people post their stuff in here if they ask me first. And so since you asked, you can post it if it lets you. It should let you. Yeah, Todd. I mean, listen, man. It's kind of hard juggling the YouTube. You know, I got a lot of traders that text me, but Todd's a friend of mine. He's just messing with me. But he always jokes around that he sent me some more stuff to ignore. Yeah, true. I would just have to honestly, Luke. It's all about back testing, right? So like the strategies I use right now, I know they work because I back tested them over a pretty decent sample size. But when I back test these strategies, I'm really only looking at the first hour, maybe hour and a half of the market day. And so when I tally up the successes and failures of a specific strategy, I'm really only looking at the first hour. And so if I was going to start trading in the afternoon, I would have to kind of do a bunch of back testing sessions to see the viability of the strategies later on in the day. And that's kind of how I trade. I take a little bit more algorithmic approach, like the algorithmic traders do, where like I like back testing to see if they're actually going to work or not. And I think that is something a lot of traders forget about and don't actually do. But you know, you get good data from back testing, like really nice data, and so it's kind of one of those things where it's still something I'm working on. But was able to fight back. I mean, I was down $25 on the day, and was able to come back with a few nice gains there. Kind of reclaiming a green day. I'll take it for sure. So 2 green days today, or 2 green trades, 1 red. So I'll take it for sure. Small gain on the day, but green is green, and was able to kind of come back from that $25 loss I took first. Hey, appreciate it, L. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions, brother. On BAC, what did you get in on a VWAP bounce, Todd? Yeah, BAC actually kind of faded nicely here. It didn't quite get up to the VWAP. Was at about 5 cents away, but you know, not a bad little bear flag there. Bear flag looking play. All right, two-way. Have a good day, man. Oh wait, did somebody say two-way was a female? Somebody said he is a she. Who were they talking about? I know Tiny. If you see Tiny Trader, she's a female. Tiny Trader. We used to have another one, NYC. They were both the girl traders we had here. They were both super chill and cool. Okay, so you got in at 24.59. I'm assuming right here. Yeah. On this bounce play right here. Yeah, that was a good play. That was a good job. Ah, okay, Jason, you were just messing with us. All right. ASTC. The only play I really saw here, I think, it looks like a good candidate for a gap fill, but it's a little bit too, maybe a little bit too down already. The only play I really saw with ASTC was this VWAP rejection here looked good. You know, break underneath the VWAP, pull back to the VWAP, nice rejection back down. So this VWAP rejection here looked good. You could have set a risk of, I don't know, 406. So about 16-cent risk, reward level of 362. And so, yeah, definitely positive risk reward there for ACST. Maybe a little bit late. At this point, I'm just kind of looking at it to see what it does at this $0.50 of 350. If it can hold underneath 350 and continue to fill some of this gap here down to $3 is kind of what I would look for with it. But who knows? Definitely looks bearish, but we'll see. It's definitely possible. It's kind of in between any strategy I would take for it, L. Looking at the daily chart, I think that it's probably going to come back down eventually. Just looking at the daily chart, like I said, I'm not an investment professional, not liable for any losses anybody takes. You always got to make your own assessment of the market. I want to say that for liability reasons. But if you look at the daily chart, I mean, every time this thing is spiked, it fails. It comes back down. And so for that reason, I'm a little bit more short biased with it. But it could bounce to the VWAP at least. But at this point, like I said, I'm kind of looking at the $0.50 of 350 to see if it's going to hold some resistance there and continue to fill this gap back down to 3, or if it's going to break over 350, pull back to the VWAP, and then fail. And so it's not really in any specific strategy I would trade right now. And the only one I would have really liked was this VWAP projection here at about 10:10 market time. Court. Yeah, I remember Court moving today. The thing about Court, it had two really nice VWAP rejections here. Kind of faked a fade this morning, but beautiful VWAP rejections here. And this is one, I don't know if anybody heard me, but you could see I actually planned this one out. So whenever this stock was right here at about 1875, I called out this VWAP rejection, giving myself a risk of 1905 and a reward level of 1830s. And so it was positive risk reward, and you can see it followed through really nicely there. It even rejected a second time here. At this point, it's kind of one of those moves where it's just kind of been consolidating at the VWAP exactly. And so I wouldn't take it now, but who knows? Also, if anybody's interested in using TradeNet, which is the broker I use, you can go through my link and get 10% off any package you choose. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways, I'm always going to keep this YouTube stream free. It's always 100% free, and so this is one of the ways we keep it free. And so I just posted the link. If you don't know about TradeNet, it's kind of like a prop firm. You pay for a package, like the intro package is $500, and with that you get $14,000 in buying power, and there's a $700 max loss. And so really, you get an extra $200 to lose with the intro package. And biggest flaw, I think, with TradeNet is that some stocks aren't tradable, specifically cheaper penny stocks. And so if you are going to use TradeNet, you do want to understand that. That's my biggest kind of pet peeve with it. But the commissions are cheap. Anything that's actually tradable, I can short. And so it's kind of like the perfect broker for me. I enjoy using them. But do your research. And like I said, if you go through my link, you can get 10% off one of the packages. What are you in? You in Cron long or short, Outsiders? I'm assuming short, right? Although I could see a bounce to the VWAP as well. I don't know. Looking at this, I mean, I think that 45 for me would be a little bit too tight of a stop area. I think this 53 level would probably be the best for risk. You would have to let it test 1250, maybe wait a little bit longer to get in short. At least that's my take on it, but who knows, brother? Not going to say it's not going to work. Hope it works out for you, man. Tastyworks. So Tastyworks and Tasty Trade in general was founded by the founder of Thinkorswim. So you can see the Thinkorswim charts that I use here. Tasty Trade was founded by the guy who created the platform Thinkorswim. He eventually sold it to TD Ameritrade, and so now it's TD Ameritrade's platform. But I really appreciate the guy's work. I love Thinkorswim. I kind of disagree with him with regard to like trading in general. Like I'm a day trader, so like I specifically day trade, and I can't remember his name, but I know he doesn't think day trading can be a profitable endeavor. Like he doesn't think day trading actually works, and so I disagree with his mentality on trading in general. But I think he's a brilliant guy. Really love the work he's put in and the platforms he's made. But like I said, I just disagree with him with his mentality in trading. Like I said, he doesn't believe day trading can actually be profitable. Which, I mean, if you look at my stats, it obviously can. It's just you have to find setups and strategies that work using profitable risk and reward ratios. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the guy's work. Right, for what? To see profitable traders, Sid? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously looking good. I mean, it's obviously possible to be a profitable day trader. Like I said, the number one thing most people forget about when when trying to be profitable in day trading is risk and reward. You know, you have to understand where your risk is, and you have to have more reward than your risk. You know, that way, if you give yourself 2 to 1 or better in each trade, even if you're only right 50% of the time, which is going to happen a lot, you know, you're only going to be right half the time, a lot of the time. That sounded funny. But even if that's the case, if you're giving yourself enough reward relative to your risk, then you're still going to be profitable if you're using good risk and reward levels. And I think that's something that nobody ever really talks about. Nobody ever really teaches. They might teach you risk management, like only use a certain percent of your account relative to what you're risking in each trade and stuff like that. But I think that's really the path to be a profitable day trader is analyzing risk and reward levels. You know, understanding that if you give yourself more reward than your risk and you're over 50% accurate using a 2 to 1 ratio or better reward to risk, then you're still going to be profitable even if you're only right half the time. And I think that's the guide in day trading. You know, that's what it takes. Yeah, TradeNet. I did know they have a year expiration on the intro package. If you're not profitable, after a year, they close it down. I don't think that's that big of a deal, just because I mean I don't think many people are going to keep the intro account past a year if they're not profitable. You know, I mean I say that, but my last intro account I had since when was it? I had it since April or May. I think I had it from May all the way to October, and so I kept that thing for a long time. But I was actually profitable just using small share size, so it never really got any traction. But I don't think the year is that big of a deal, just because I don't think most people are going to keep the intro account for that long anyway. The TradeNet is more for day trading. It's not for swing trading, and if you're not profitable and you still have the account after a year, you're probably not trading much on it. Right. I mean, it's all about giving yourself a reasonable plan in the trade to follow, Sid. It's all about understanding your risk reward, where you're going to take profits, you know, all of that stuff before you enter the trade, because that's ultimately when you're going to be the most objective. You know, if you're changing your plan while you're in the trade, you're not going to be as objective because you're going to want that trade to work since you're already in it. And so you give yourself a plan before you enter the trade. You know, in that way, you have a guide to follow in the trade. You know you have positive risk and reward, and you can kind of just take your hands off and just follow your levels. And like that's why you always hear me say, all I can do is follow my levels. All I can do is just watch my levels and follow them. I'm assuming pretty low, Sean. Hey, nice, Sid. Hey, happy to help, brother. But yeah, listen, the most new traders, and this is what's ultimately going to happen for most new traders, right? This is kind of what happens, right? They see, They see most of the time they see a guru or somebody like that saying, "Hey, it's possible to make millions of dollars in a week with a $10 investment in day trading, and you can do it too. Buy my $1,000 course, and you can do it too." Or whatever. And so traders, new traders, beginner traders, they get all super excited. They're like, man, I'm going to pay my mortgage with this. I'm going to pay my bills with this within a month, And so they get all super excited, and then they jump in the market and they just lose their entire account, And a lot of times they say, well, trading's rigged. I'm done. I'm giving up. And that's it. And that's where you get the 90%, which I don't even know if that's an accurate statistic. It sounds accurate, but I don't know. But that's usually what happens. And the ones that actually make it work are the ones that stick around. There's the common kind of cliche saying in trading where you got to pay the market tuition. Basically, for a large majority of people, they're going to lose money when they first start. They're going to lose, and it's somewhat of a necessary thing in trading. You got to lose so you can understand risk management. And it's just kind of one of those things that a large majority of new traders do. Of course, there's outliers. There's always going to be outliers with anything. Traders that get really lucky or maybe just pick it up ridiculously quick or whatever. There's always going to be outliers. But for a large majority of new traders, that's going to happen. And what people got to understand about trading is that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, you're not going to be able, for most people, you're not going to be able to jump in the market after a few weeks of learning and start paying your mortgage with it. It's like earning a degree. It's like earning a trade, pun intended. It's going to take, usually for most people, it's at least going to take 6 months or more, probably a year at least, before they actually start showing some consistency. But it's one of those things that once you actually learn how to do it, that will be a trade, pun intended, that you'll have for the rest of your life. It's just about putting that work in, and it takes time. You're not going to just jump in and be profitable immediately. It's just not how it works. And I think a lot of the big time gurus and stuff advertise it like you can, and like you can be really profitable all of a sudden. And I guess you can, but that's an outlier. For most people, you're going to lose money when you first get started. Yeah, like I said, with CRON, that 1252 level, or that 1255 level looked reasonable. But I think you would have had to buy it around here, short it around here, and then have that tight risk. Go to college, Zimmy. I don't think anybody should I don't think go to college, man. I wouldn't. Here's the thing. I wouldn't give up any life plans you have to trade. If you want to start trading, trade on your free time. Trade when you have time. Don't build your life around being a successful day trader. And that way, if it works out for you, it works out, but you're not giving up and risking too much there. Because day trading is probably the single hardest investment method. It's the single hardest investment method, in my opinion. It's the hardest to learn. And so it's not going to be an easy road, and chances of failure are relatively high. And so, like I said, I wouldn't give up any life plans to be a day trader. I wouldn't quit your job to be a day trader. I wouldn't take out a loan and use that to day trade. I think that you're going to have too much pressure on yourself, and that's going to negatively affect your emotions. Right. And I think that's the way to do it, Jason. You gotta. It's hard. It's kind of like a buzzkill, right? Like, new traders, they get super excited about it. They're like, man, I'm gonna pay my tuition. I'm gonna pay my mortgage. I'm gonna pay my bills with this. Just give me a month or two. I'm gonna start paying all my bills with day trading. And pretty quickly, they learn that's probably not going to happen. And it's kind of a buzzkill. It hurts. You get all these hopes and dreams invested into day trading, and then you realize that it's just not like that. Even if you've been told it is like that, it's not. And that's why I try to be honest with people about it. You know, it's not a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to jump in and just start paying your bills with this within a month. I mean, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely. You know, and I don't care if people have the best course in the world, and the best day trading course in the world. You know, it's just usually not going to happen. You know, and so you got to understand that. You know, and understand that it's a process and that it's going to take time. But it's one of those things where, like, yes, it takes a lot of work, and you know, it takes a lot of time and work, you know, to kind of build your base in trading. But once you actually get it and you're actually profitable consistently, then it'll be something you can do for the rest of your life, you know. And so it's a worthwhile investment for me of my time. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, Sid, as well, man. I think that's the right way to look at it. And listen, man, I could be one of those guys that tell you that your hopes and your path to riches is just to buy my day trading course, and to you'll be rich within a month, and you'll be driving Lambos and Ferraris around and all that stuff. But I'd rather just be honest with people about it, you know, even if it gets me less signups or whatever, because that's the truth. With $1,000, it is possible, but I would say unlikely. You know, it's 100% it's possible. But I think the goal at first, L, is to not focus on how much money you're actually going to make. The goal at first is just to learn how to manage trades, back test strategies, create a plan around each trade you get into, and just to get into good trades. And so it really doesn't matter how much you start with. The goal is just to kind of build that foundation in trading. You know, you can always focus on making money later once you have that foundation, but the goal at first isn't to make money. And I think because if you go in there just trying to make money, you're probably going to lose money. You know, you got to take it slow. Yeah. And so it's like, even, you know, trade small, take it slow. Like, trade small, you know. Take small base hits at first. Try to build up some consistency. And it all depends on a lot of stuff, L. It depends on the broker you're using. You know, like for instance, like on Sure Trader, you're not going to get that far with $1,000, just because the platform's 150 bucks. Commissions are high. And so it all depends on a lot of different things. It's possible, but it's unlikely. Hey, nice, Netron. Hey, do your thing, man. I know, Anik. Yeah, brother. I bounced back, man. Not a bad day, man. Was able to bounce back. Appreciate it. Yeah, no stress, L. No worries, man. See on the VWAP, Todd. You got in on the fade, Todd, or the bounce? Hey, I'm talking to you, brother. What's your entry? What's your risk, Todd? Where's your risk at? Where's your reward? Long or short? I know, but long or short, Todd? Where's your risk? Where's your reward? I'm gonna quiz you really quick. Todd is Mr. Charts. I know, but long or short, Todd? See, I brought you over to the dark side, man. I'm telling you though, man, the VWAP fade has been the single most profitable strategy I have ever used. Right, 100%, Luke. Yeah, I always tell people, I think trading really brings. All I know is myself, right? I think trading kind of brings really competitive people into it. I think to be a successful day trader, you have to be pretty competitive because the truth is, anytime you buy, you're buying it from somebody. Anytime you sell, you're selling it to somebody in the hopes that they are wrong and you are right. And so I think trading brings naturally competitive people. I think you have to be pretty passionate about it to actually stick with it. And, I think you have to have some emotional stability as well. What's my take on Robinhood and Webull? I've used both. Webull's actually an old sponsor of mine. They sponsored me a while back. I like there's pros and cons to each. I like Webull because I can trade in pre-market and after hours with no margin. So even without a margin account, even if I only had a few $100 in my Webull account, I could still trade long in pre-market and after hours. And so I really like that about Webull. I like the charting software on Webull a lot more. They actually have candlestick charts. I can change the time frame. It's just a much more dynamic platform for Webull. But at the same time, Robinhood has the option to where there's no T2 rule. So like your funds settle immediately. You still have to follow the PDT rule, but there's no T2 rule. So like your funds settle immediately after each trade. And so I like that about Robinhood. And Webull, after each trade, you're ultimately going to have to wait 2 days for your funds to settle back into your account. Although I tend to like Webull a little bit more. It just depends on how much money you have. Both free commissions. Both zero commission brokers. So yeah, so with CFDs, it's CFD stands for contract for difference, right? And so you're basically trading against the broker. And I can't even get mad at them for it because like if the cliche statistic is right, 90% of traders fail, then that's a pretty safe bet. And the only thing I really care about is if they pay out. At least with TradeNet and CFDs, that's what you're signing up for. That's what CFDs are. You're trading against the broker. SureTrader does the exact same thing. SureTrader, everybody always talks about how SureTrader has lots of shorts available and stuff like that. It's not that SureTrader is just a nicer broker. It's that whenever you short on SureTrader, a lot of the time SureTrader's actually taking the opposing side of that. And that's why they have so many shorts. And so on SureTrader, you're trading against the broker as well sometimes. At least with TradeNet, that's what you sign up for, But there's pros and cons to each. Like I really like the DOS platform from SureTrader. I really enjoy the DOS platform. It's one of my favorite platforms, but it's expensive. Yeah, I can see NBEV for a bounce play. The only problem with NBEV in a bounce play right now, it looks like it's working out for you, Todd, for C. The only problem with it is that it's putting in a lower low here. And it's under the whole $1.06. Now, I think the risk can be pretty tight here at like 85 for NBEV. But I won't say I'm super confident in it. Like there's a risk, previous high pre-market, reward level of I don't know, 620 right here. Looks decent. Tight risk, big reward. But I won't say I'm super confident in the setup actually fulfilling. Just because it's kind of in a lower low right here. But it's holding support. We'll see. Gilbert, you could say they are. I don't know. All I know is that most overseas brokers do exactly what TradeNet does. And so if you're going to call TradeNet a crook, you got to call every broker a crook. Every overseas broker, like SureTrader, all of them. Because they all do the same thing. And so it's kind of a necessary evil in the trading world that you're going to have to deal with if you're trying to trade with less than 25K in the, if you're trying to actively day trade with less than 25K. And so I'm not one of those people that mindlessly defend any broker. Maybe I'm biased because I post TradeNet links. Who knows? But All I know is that all of the overseas brokers do it, and I've used SureTrader, I've used UStockTrade, who does the same thing. They have super users who take the other side of your trade, and so UStockTrade does it too. And I've used all of these brokers, and so I do have experience with all of them. It's just kind of a necessary evil in the trading world. It's what you're gonna have to deal with. The only thing I care about is if they pay out. If they pay out, they pay out. That's all I really care about. And I've heard TradeNet does. Right. I mean, it's one of those things, right? You get people making all these videos about TradeNet, right? But the people making the videos are actually working for Speed Trader, so essentially SureTrader, right? And like they're making these videos because they're working with Speed Trader and SureTrader, who I'll mention do the exact same thing. And so if you're a new trader, you might not understand the hypocrisy behind it all, but that's kind of the truth in it. And you got to just kind of read between the lines and understand why people do certain things. And like I said, not one that mindlessly defends any broker. At least with TradeNet, you're signing up for it. Like that's what CFDs are. PBR had a nice little VWAP bounce here. It looks like it'd be EV failed, but PBR, nice little VWAP bounce there. Ty Lopez. I don't know anything about Ty Lopez, man, except for those super fake videos of him in a mansion talking about how much money I make or how much money he makes and about how you can make it too. Should be red flags coming in there. It all depends. Thoughts on Patrick? I'm assuming you mean Patrick Wheeland. I'm not gonna say any names. I mean, I don't know enough about it to really say good or bad things about him. Um, he's got a cool channel. I'm not gonna hate on anybody. I'm not one of those people that sticks to drama. I don't know. What's the best broker for a beginner in your opinion? It is all subjective, man. It all depends on what you're looking for. Like what style of trading you have, if you're long or short, how much money you're going to start with, stuff like that. It all depends, man. Different brokers, they all have pros and cons. What app do you recommend for stock trading simulation just to get started? Um, I don't know. I mean, I like the DOS paper trading platform. It costs money, but for if you're talking about free paper trades, I don't really know. I mean, I know Ustock Train is like a free paper trading software, but if you're talking about free, I don't know many free paper ones. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, guys, and this is what people need to understand just about the trading world in general, right? Is that you got all these people on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention any names. Excuse me. You got all these people on YouTube, right? And almost all of them, I'm not even naming one in particular, but almost all these people on YouTube, they either don't stream live, so you don't know if they're actually getting in good trades or not. They don't show their account balance, and they never review their profit and loss. And so with a lot of these people on YouTube, they're essentially just showing you their winning trades. So like I could have 5 trades in a day. I could have 4 losing trades and 1 winning trade. And then record that 1 winning trade and upload it to YouTube. Like, look how much money I made. And I'm sorry, but a large majority of YouTubers are doing that. And then if they do live stream, they take losses. And then they go back to not live streaming and just uploading their trades. And all of a sudden, miraculously, they're having a bunch of green days again. And that should be a red flag. There's no reason not to show your account balance. There's no reason not to show your profit and loss, and a large majority of YouTubers are doing that. And so that's what you want to understand is that, that's kind of what you get. And I think it feels good to watch somebody pretend to be profitable, but that's what they're doing, is just pretending. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying good or bad. Like, I just try to stay away from drama. I just think it's something that new traders should understand about the world of social media traders, is that most of them are not showing you their account balance. And, like, they can make excuses for that, but there's no reason they shouldn't be showing you their account balance, you know? Because, like I said, it's really easy to just kind of cherry pick your winners and upload those. Like, look how much money I've been making. But if they're not showing your account balance, you know, like I said, you could have 5 losing trades in a day and then 1 winning trade. Upload the 1 winning trade out of 6 trades and say, look how much money I made. You know, and I think that's super common, and it's something that new traders should understand. And that's why, like, here, like, I just try to show people everything. You know, regardless if I win or lose, at least you're seeing everything. You know, even days like yesterday when I rebounded some after the stream ended, I can post my profit and loss, but you could see my profit and loss. You know, when I closed the stream down, I was down like, I don't know, $7 to $8 maybe. And you could see I rebounded some, especially after commissions. But it's just kind of how it is. Like, I just try to be honest with people, no matter what, if I'm winning or losing. You know, you'll see a lot of people try to live stream, but if you're live streaming, you actually have to be, you know, you actually have to back up what your accuracy rate was before you start live streaming. And so, you know, I've always said live streaming will hurt your brand. And so you'll see people try it and then they'll kind of revert back to, you know, just posting their trades. Is because, you know, when you live stream, you can't hide anything, you know. Nice, Todd. Hey, brother, did it work out? Let me see where C's at. Yeah, it looks like it worked out for you, bro. Nice job. Hey, green is green, Todd. Nice work today, brother. Good work. Nice little flag there for AMD. You can see the little flag pattern here. You got the pole here. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better. My screen's too choppy. I can see the flag. Man, look at that confirmation in that level I drew for NBEV. Just got right to it and bounced. It all just depends on what you're looking for, L. You know, like the pro is like an actual mentorship, so it's like private lessons, and so you get 3, and it's like we build a trade plan for you, kind of learn about you as a trader, and try to build a plan around that to help you succeed. It's kind of what we do in the pro. But with the pro, you get that, and you get access to everything that's in the basics. So like with the pro, you get the mentoring, the private ones, and then you also get all the live classes that are in the basic as well. But it's up to you, man. It just depends, you know. Hey, appreciate it, Kent. Thanks, brother. Yeah, that was my goal when I started this channel, just to be honest. I saw a lot of fake stuff out in the YouTube world. I just try to be honest with people about everything. I mostly just short, chase, but that's just my style. Mitch likes to go long a little bit more than I do. I stick with what works, and shorting works for me, and so I just stick with that. kind of crawling back to the VWAP here. Yeah, so Chase, like we cover, you know, I always say though, like the classes don't revolve around like a specific strategy. We do teach classes on strategies, right? The strategies that we teach are VWAP fades, VWAP bounces, VWAP rejections, we triangles, pennants, wedges, washout longs, 1 minute pullbacks, flags. And so those are, I think, all the strategies that we teach. But it's more about like the truth about trading, guys, is that you can learn any strategy for free on YouTube, right? So the classes revolve around some strategies, but a lot of times it's in relation to risk and reward, like where you're going to set your risk, how to calculate risk and reward, how to build a trade plan around certain strategies. But the meat of the classes is based around risk and reward, because the truth is you can learn any strategy for free, you know, on YouTube or online. You know, all the strategies that people use are out there. And so, you know, we're not going to sell you $1 million strategy that you can get rich off of. We're going to teach you how to manage it and have good risk and reward. Like, that's what we do. Todd, man. Yeah, no stress, Chase. Yeah, no, I was looking at it, man. I was looking at it. It's climbing back there. You know, at this point, it's like, only thing you can really do is like, okay, so if it gets back up to the VWAP, where's your risk, right? I think a reasonable risk area would be 64, maybe 65, 66 max. So 66, we'll play it safe there. So from 58 to 66, that's 8 cents, right? So you got an 8-cent risk. And then where's your reward target? At the bare minimum, you could do 1-to-1, which would be 12.50. I'd really like to see it get down to 12.40 though, and I think that's a little bit more reasonable area, giving yourself that 12.40 level. So that's 18-cent reward, 8-cent risk, better than 2-to-1. Even if it bounces at 12.50, that's still 1-to-1, and so doesn't look bad. The only thing I really don't like is that it's kind of putting in a little bit of a triangle here. Maybe a wedge. Let me see if I can draw this out a little bit better. Little wedge there. And so you can see the little wedge there. That's the only thing. It's kind of breaking out from that. That's kind of what you see here at the half dollar, the breakout from that wedge there. And so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. Positive risk reward for the most part, but it's just, I don't know if it followed through or not. Kind of consolidated a lot down here in that wedge. But yeah, I'm probably done for the day, guys. So I'll probably end up closing it down here. I got some stuff I got to work on. Like I said, anybody interested in signing up to TradeNet, you can go through my link. Do your research. But you can go through my link. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways we keep the stream free. And so if you want to check out TradeNet, which is the broker I use, you can go through that link and reach out to them. And it helps support the channel as well. But do your research. There's been some drama with them lately. But if you want to check them out, you can go through that link. Overall, happy with the day. Was down $25 after that first trade and was able to fight back and make about $45 after that to get up about $20 on the day. So I'll take it. Green day is a green day. That's my second green day this week. I've had one red day, 2 green. And yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Just working on that bigger sizing, guys. I'm working on it. You know, this is day 3 with 300 shares. I'm getting used to it. Definitely have some holes in my game I need to fix. I definitely have some holes in my game I need to fix. I think I'm taking profits a little bit too early with the bigger share size. But, you know, the important thing is that I'm actually taking the trade with the bigger share size. And so I'm happy with it for the most part. Just got to continue kind of conditioning myself to take bigger share size. And I think I'll be all right. Trevor, sorry, Trevor. Trevor wants... All right, listen, brother. I'll give you 5 more minutes if you want to post your video in here, man. So, yeah, guys, I'll keep it running for about 5 more minutes. so I can let Trevor post the video. I know he's been working on it, so I'll keep it going for 5 more minutes or so. Appreciate it, Jason. Thanks, man. I can go ahead and add this, see what my graph looks like after today. I could do that, I guess. It's today 12/12. See, my first trade was at 9:34. Sorry, I'm adding my trades to TraderView so I can see what my graph looks like after today. So $9.40, $58, AMD. $941.50. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I'm uploading my graph so you can see my graph today. Thanks for the sub. I'll check it in a second. Let's see, 12/12/2018, 10/16. right, one more, guys. Almost done. Sorry about that. I know I'm taking a little bit of time here. My exit for Kron was a little bit worse than I was looking for. Alright, but I think I should be done. Alright, guys. Let's see. Let me upload these real quick, and then I will check out my graph. Here, Trevor, give me 1 second, man. I'll enable you to do it. Give me 1 second, bro. I got you. It should let you, but give me a second. Almost done. Last one. There we go. All right, so not a bad graph. Hold on 1 second. Let me make it so you can post links, Trevor. It should let you post links. That's weird. Trevor, so send me an email, brother, with it, beginnertrading@gmail.com, and I'll post it for you. No, I'm not seeing it. Michael Radcliffe, question: when you get into trade, which candles are you looking at to measure potential profit and loss? If at the open, are you using pre-market or previous days? Yes. So a lot of the time with longs, I'm using like pre-market highs, like you can see with NBEV, which kind of followed really, really close there at 484. So with longs, a lot of the time I'm using pre-market highs, and like with shorts, with the fade, a lot of the times for my profit target, I'm using the previous low of the day. Like on Cron here, it'd be at 1255. And for resistance and risk, I can use this previous move here, which is also the low of over here. So I can use this move here as my risk. 1278 is what I think I gave myself with Cron. So this previous high right here. But it's all subjective. It's something we always talk about. If pre-market has enough volume, the levels are more concrete and self-evident, and so if I'm using pre-market levels, I want to see volume, but if not, I can use previous intraday levels or just historical levels from the previous days. Yeah, no stress, Michael. Oh yeah, look at my graph here. So this is my graph from the last few weeks. Pretty graph, man. I'm happy with it. You can see daily volume has increased. I've been using bigger share size. But definitely happy with it. You see details. 81% accuracy rate. My accuracy rate went down some, but 13 winning trades and 3 losing trades. And so I'm super happy with that. Max consecutive wins is 5, so I had 5 green trades in a row. And you can look at this. Average winning trade is smaller than the average losing trade. It's just because I'm scaling up in sizing, and so that's affecting, that's affecting my wins and losses here. I may be getting out of my, trades a little early, taking profits too soon, not holding it to my reward level, and so that's a possible reason for that as well. I think this will even out some as I continue to use larger sizing, but since the majority of these stats are with small sizing, and since I've scaled up, I think my average loss is going to be worse than my average winning trade, but not too bad. Definitely happy with the graph or so. If you want to look at the graph overall from November, this is my November to present day graph. And so definitely happy with it. You know, got a few holes in my game to tweak, but when I get some bigger sizing, I should definitely start. Once I get down with this consistent bigger sizing, I should be taking some bigger gains out of the market. So excited for my trading future. Definitely happy with my overall stats for the most part. You know, over the past month and a half, and so we'll see where it goes, guys. Also, let me see. I know. Here, let me. Did you send me that link, Trevor? No, I'm not getting it, man. It's beginnertrading@gmail.com. And I'll post it for you if it's not letting you post it. Man, look at AMD, guys. Wow, look at this move. AMD has just been going crazy, crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not trading against the super user on TradeNet. I'm trading against the broker. But that's actually what that's actually what CFDs are, though. Like, that's what you sign up for with CFDs. Is you know, that's what contract for difference. It's in the name. It's self-evident. You're trading a contract for the difference against the broker. But that's actually what you sign up for with TradeNet. And so, like I said, I don't have a problem with it. I understand it. And if they pay out, they pay out. That's all I really care about. All right, Trevor, I'll give you a minute or two to upload the video, man. But if not, I'm going to close it down. It's getting a little late. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it down. Trevor, if you want to send it to me on Twitter or email it to me, I'll post it on my Twitter. So if you want to see the video Trevor's talking about, just follow me on Twitter, @BeginnerTrades on Twitter. Not @BeginnerTrading, it's @BeginnerTrades. Oh, you sent it? All right. Still not seeing it. I got it. All right, let me see. All right, yeah, I can post that. Here you go. All right, guys, go check out Trevor's link. He's talking about Fibonacci. I'm going to check it out as well. Good luck for the rest of the day, all. We'll see you all a little bit later, and good luck in the markets. Appreciate the sub, Eric, Barack, Curtis. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the subs. Everybody, if you want to help support the channel, click the like button right now on this video. If you appreciate the content we put out and you enjoy watching us trade live and watch all of our trades live, hit the like button on this video. It does help support us, and we appreciate any support we can get. But good luck for the rest of the day. We'll see you all later, and yeah, good luck. Have a good day, guys.